Now we are recording. So welcome again. My name, I see a question in the chat from Hyder, if that's, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. The recording is going to be, we'll post it on the NRHC site or send links out to the honors directors to get to you. So you'll certainly be able to have access to it. So once again, my name is Zachary Aidala. I'm one of the faculty reps for NRHC. And so tonight I'm just going to go over poster presentations, answer any questions that you have, and show you some examples of what I think are solid posters that really get to the point of what a good poster presentation should be. So I really like poster presentations. One of the reasons for that is because they are incredibly interactive. They are conversational. They also allow for some fluidity and collaboration and potential network building. Because as you'll find, when you're doing a poster presentation, people are sort of milling about, they're moving around from poster to poster in a very large room. And so people who are interested in your project might be doing similar research and start conversations with you that can eventually lead to a collaboration. It might lead to a spot in a graduate program. It might lead to, more undergraduate research if you're not quite looking at graduate school yet. So posters are a really great way to just bounce ideas off of people who stop by your poster and get some feedback on your project as well. And a lot of this interaction isn't really as possible in a research talk or a research presentation where it's just you in front of a room full of people. You give your talk for 8 to 10 minutes, you get a couple of questions, and then it's on to the next presentation. What's nice about a poster presentation is that you're standing by your research the whole time, and people can sort of come and go as they please and really build a conversational interaction with you about your work. And so one thing that I try to get people to do when doing a poster presentation is you're really not preparing an 8 to 10 minute talk, right? What you're going to come up with is what me and many others would call an elevator pitch, which is basically a 1 to 2, maybe 3 minute summary of your research and the topic and what you did, what you found, and what your conclusions were. Think of it, the way I think of it in psychology or biology is like an abstract for a paper, but in more conversational tone, right? So really, that's what you want to be prepared for when someone comes up to your poster and says, tell me a little bit about your project. You'll have that ready to go, right? Like 1 to 2 minutes of just, general overview of what your poster was about. And then be prepared also to answer more detailed questions if they have questions more about your methodology or how you analyze data or how you arrived at certain conclusions or whatever, right? And so really be prepared, obviously, to talk about the project in its entirety, but also as people come and go, sort of have like a 1 to 2 minute, pitch to get people interested and start to bounce ideas off of them. One thing that can occur during poster sessions that I always find to be potentially awkward is that people will come up to your poster and just sort of stand there and not say anything to you, and you might not really know how to respond to that because, it's kind of awkward when someone stands right next to you staring at, your big poster right behind you. So always feel free, to just ask, just introduce yourself and say, hi, please let me know if you have any questions about my project or want to hear more about my project, so that you can sort of break the ice, because not everyone is going to be willing to do that, and it's always in your best interest to break the ice. And even if they say no thank you, or they say no, it doesn't hurt you in any way to encourage that kind of conversation. Typically in posters, because they are, printed out on a large sheet of paper, you generally want to avoid heavy reliance on text if at all possible. This is definitely going to be constrained by the type of research that you're doing and how you did it. But if possible, you generally want to defer to some kind of visualization instead. I always sort of ask myself, if I'm putting a poster presentation together, I ask if there's any way that I can turn this bit of text into a graphic, or how can I add more visualization to this poster, even if it's just a photograph of, you know, you doing something related to your project. It doesn't even need to be data necessarily or a result necessarily. It's just a way of being, you know, aesthetically kind to your audience. And that's really that's a really important part of poster presentation and poster design, is coming up with something that is aesthetically interesting. Because those are the kinds of posters that people are going to say, oh, I see something going on here. I see, you know, some sort of graphic that catches my eye. Let me go over this project and see what's going on, right? And so I always try to think about those things. So what I want to do now is I just want to show you a couple of examples, and then I'll show you some of the previous research poster presentations that have been done for previous NRHC conferences, and then I'm happy to take any questions that you might have. Now, feel free to jump in if you have any questions, or write questions in the chat. I would really appreciate it, though, while I'm sharing my screen, if someone could monitor the chat for me, because I might not see a question when it pops up. So always feel free to just say, hey, there's a chat and a question in the chat, and I'd be happy to take a look at it. So let me see if I can share with you my screen, and then we'll take a look at what we've got. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay.
There's nothing in the chat.
Okay, thanks.
I'll keep an eye on it for you.
Thank you. So I'm showing you here a poster that I did a while ago. Does everyone see this here?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, I should make it full screen. Right, so this was a poster I did a while ago. There isn't a lot of data here because there wasn't like a finished study, and this is actually fairly common for some poster presentations, depending on the conference. But I knew that I wanted to sort of show my audience what it was I was doing and what we were doing, and so I had a lot of photographs. I'm an ornithologist by training, and I study the evolution of the visual system in birds. And so I've done a lot of, you know, research on birds in the natural environment that they find themselves. And so me and my graduate advisor have done, you know, lots of work looking at egg and the evolution of egg coloration. And so over the years, I've just, you know, put together a number of collected photographs. And so this is just one way of putting together a poster presentation that doesn't have a lot of data in it or results, but is still full of graphics and visuals. By the way, always put your, and your honors directors, I'm sure will tell you this, but always put your affiliations with you, whatever institution you're at. You generally want to stick that somewhere to get the name of your institution out in the world. So always try to do that for sure. Whoops. Let me see. I have another one of mine that I'll show you, and then we can move on to something else. And I can show you where to find some of the previous work from.
Okay, you have a question?
Oh, there's a question. I'm sorry.
So is the poster presentation digital, or will it be using an actual poster board? Is there a certain size requirement? There is probably information on the site. I just thought I would ask quickly now.
Sure. So this year, since the conference is going to be in person, the plan is to have an in-person poster presentation. Now, as far as, and so there you will be using a poster board. Now, there usually are size requirements, and honestly, off the top of my head, I do not know what it is. I just haven't memorized it yet. And I can certainly help you find that information. I imagine it's somewhere on the NRHC conference website. But when the presentation order and poster session information goes out to people that are doing posters, all of that information will be included. So it'll tell you what size poster you need to have and all of that kind of information. when that's done. I think we're supposed to have that out in the next week or so. What the, what panels you're going to be in and what groups and all of that other information is going to be there. I see another hand. Is there a hand somewhere?
Yeah, you have a hand up and then I have a hand up.
Okay, go ahead. Whoever wants to go first.
Hi, so I know in one of the past years that I had went to the conference, they had, I don't know if it was just because of the space we were presenting in, they had the trifold boards there and we had to like pin I didn't get to present for that one, I was presenting something else, but I know the presenters were pinning their presentations to that and just, coming and going. So I don't know if you know if that's the situation for this year as well, just so we could like figure out how, like what type of poster we can print, if it could be cloth or like the actual big paper posters.
My understanding is that the boards will be available. I haven't heard anything to contradict that. And that's at every conference I've been to. They always provide those things. For the most part, sometimes you have to bring your own pins though. But I imagine we'll try to also have those. But I haven't heard anything about presenters needing to bring their own, their own backing to post the poster or anything like that.
Yeah.
Should all be provided. If that changes or that's wrong, I'll absolutely make sure that information gets sent out to all the presenters, all the posters.
Yeah. So usually, I mean, you need to envision that you're going to be in a big room and there will be many, many, many posters.
Yeah.
You'll have a table, and as Zach has just mentioned, usually a trifold type of thing. Be sure to bring clips to hang your poster on. The posters are normally done on paper. Think about a trifold. It's about 3 feet wide and about 2.5, 3 feet high. But again, they will send out specific dimensions, and those might be available on site already. So there will, I believe, be at some point a query as to do you want to have a backing, or are you going to bring your own? But now mostly everybody does it's a cardboard backing type of thing. You really do need to bring your clips and a number of them to hang your poster. So that's that.
Yeah.
And then Zach, you have another question. What day is the poster presentation session during the conference?
I believe they're going to be Saturday.
Saturday and maybe on Sunday also?
I think there might be one on Sunday as well. Yeah,
it's Saturday.
That's my
morning.
understanding.
Yeah. Normally Saturday morning, and there's a continental breakfast. And then on Sunday morning, there's also a continental breakfast and the posters. And so people usually show up about 7:30-ish to get their posters put up, and then you're ready to go.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the conference at a glance right now. So poster session on Saturday the 9th from 7:45 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then there will be another one on Sunday from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. So there will be both Saturday and Sunday, right during, just like Linda said, during one of the during the breakfast. Yeah, so it depends. I see another one. It depends on the day you are presenting. Yeah, so different strands, like if you're in science and mathematics, or if you're in social sciences, or if you're in media and the arts, the different strands are going to be slated to have their poster sessions within one of those 2 times. We haven't decided, we haven't made that yet. That's what I was saying is going to come out in the next couple of weeks, next week or so, what days, and you'll be told all that stuff. In terms of poster size, I just looked at my previous poster. It was 36 by 24, and that's typical. But we'll of course make sure that whatever the size limitations are, we'll make sure that you all know what those are, so that you know where to print it out. I used to print stuff at Staples. Some of your institutions might have a printing service available to you on campus too. It just depends on, you ask your honors directors about that, and they'll help you. Let's
Maybe,
see.
I think it's important that they get the tube. You can get those like at Staples.
Yes.
So, and you can also get you can send a digital copy of your to something like Staples, and for a reasonable amount of money, they will print it out in color for you on very nice paper, and then you can just roll it up, and they'll provide a tube, and that's the best way to carry it.
Yep, that's what I used to do. That's what I always did when I was in graduate school. Was I would go to Staples, they'd print it out on nice paper. They sometimes they'll give you a cardboard, usually like a cardboard, like a heavy duty cardboard tube that you can put roll the poster up and put it in. You can also
Yep.
buy them. There's like plastic, the have more heavy duty plastic ones with the screw off top. They're like sort of fancy and they're fun to carry around. But it also is going to depend on how you're traveling to the conference, what you feel more comfortable in. Like if you're throwing stuff in under a bus carriage or in a train, you might want to opt for a more heavy duty case. But if that's really just up to you and what you're comfortable doing and what your honors director suggests. Always defer to them for stuff like that, for sure.
There's another question.
Mhm.
How will indoor dining work in terms of COVID?
Yeah, so we've been talking about this in the board meetings. So far, the plan right now is that the conference will be masked, but during dining, masks on when you're not eating, but when we're eating, masks you can't eat with a mask on. So masks come down for that. But that's my general understanding. Now, for those that are planning on going out to eat in other restaurants and things like that, you probably will want to bring proof of vaccination, only because Philadelphia does have Philadelphia has a vaccine mandate for indoor dining. So you'll want to have that if you plan on going out. I don't know how strict they're being. I live in New York City, in Staten Island, which is not very strict, but I know if you go over to Manhattan, they are really checking. So you might not want to roll the dice and just bring it with you. Does that answer the question? I'm not really sure if that answers the question. It will be a big dining room, with the banquets are going to be in a large room. And as far as I know, yeah, that all I know about that. Any other questions before I show you where to find? I want to show you where to find some previous posters for NRHC, and I can show you some examples from the different strands as well. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'll present my.
I got one quick question. Sorry.
Yeah, go right ahead. What's up?
If I'm able to.
Yeah, please.
Say something.
Sure.
I'm not sure if you can hear me actually.
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So I'm doing some sort of art piece. I'm wondering if there's like a limit on whether I'm allowed to bring like other like props, I guess you could say, that go along with it.
For a poster?
Yeah, like I guess, if I'm doing an art piece, I'm not going to have a separate poster. I think I'll just use the art piece itself as my poster. And then like, I'm thinking I might bring a couple other things just to like enhance it.
So poster rooms are crowded. You're going to find yourself in pretty cramped quarters right next. There's going to be people literally right next to you. That doesn't mean you can't bring stuff. So I won't say no, but just be careful of what you bring. You don't want it to get stepped on or broken or whatever. And I don't know whether there would be like a table for you to put it on. We probably will not have the room for that. We can try to, make it work. If you can get you can get yourself into on an end somewhere where you have some extra room. But that also depends on when you show up, because usually the way it works is, Linda, do you remember? I actually don't know. Do they assign? Are they going to give like each student a number, and then each poster spot is going to be numbered, right? Yeah, it's not a free-for-all anymore. It used to be a free-for-all when I was in graduate school and other conferences. It was just like, here's the poster room, go find a spot. But now for NRHC, you're basically going to be given a number, and you're going to go to your numbered spot in the poster room and put your poster up on the backing that your number is. And so, you know, to be honest, I don't know whether, I'm not going to say no, but I also can't really say yes either. I guess it's sort of use your best judgment. I think you can always bring things and then check out the space and then decide whether or not it makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As long as you're comfortable with that. If you don't mind my asking, if you're doing an art presentation, would you also consider doing like submitting to the art gallery? Because that's also an option too. If you have art pieces, we also have an art gallery that is separate from the poster presentation.
Okay, that might actually be what I'm more geared to in
Okay.
general.
Okay.
So I might just do that instead. I'm not sure if there's a I thought we all had to do a poster basically.
No, you don't. I mean, I don't know what arrangements you have with your honors director and at your institution, but we do, the NRHC does host an art gallery. And so if you are interested in changing changing the format of your presentation, clear it, of course, with whoever your honors director is and make sure that's okay with them. But you can always email us at nrhchonorscouncil@gmail.com. Or sorry, Northeast Regional Honors Council @gmail.com. And we can see if we can rearrange your talk. Have you already been accepted for a poster?
No, I guess I'm art gallery. I
okay.
jumped in on this.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, so you might be in
info.
we are hosting.
This is great information though. I mean, I'm happy to hear it.
Sure. So yeah, if you're slated for art gallery, we are hosting an art gallery session as well. The date escapes me, but I can tell you in just a second. Give me 1 minute.
It's on February 10th.
February 10th. Thank you. So February 10th at what time? Do you know? Because I don't.
The student art show, it's showing up at Friday from 6 to 7:15.
February? Okay. I'm not gonna be at that one then.
Wait. Are we talking about the conference or the information session?
Oh,
because we're doing information sessions for all the different presentation types.
Oh, then you were talking about two different things.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the art show is going to be on what is it? Is it Saturday? Did I miss? No, Friday the 8th.
Friday.
Friday, April 8th. This is at the conference. So it's
Okay.
Friday evening at the conference, but we're also hosting, I think it came to my email. Let me see if I can pull it up. We're also hosting an information session for the art galleries in February at some time. It should have gone to people's emails. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on 1 second.
Cool. Well, I'm glad if it's a Friday, I can't make it usually. So I'm glad I came to this one instead.
So it's going to be Tuesday, February 9th at 5:30 p.m. Oh, sorry. No, Thursday, February 10th at 6:30 p.m. That's the art gallery panel presentation.
All right, even better.
Okay. And that should have gone out to all of the NRHC members. And so you can always ask if you didn't get it directly, you can always ask your honors director and they should be able to give you that information too.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, we have another question.
Yeah, what's up?
No, we have two questions. The first is, what is typical dress attire for the poster presentation? Can I wear a suit during my presentation, or is that too formal? I have never attended one before.
Sure. Business casual would be fine. If you want to be fancy, be fancy. It's your presentation, whatever you're comfortable in. I mean, but I would err on at least business casual. So, button down, slacks would be fine.
I'm gonna.
You want to put a tie on? Put a tie on. That's fine. That doesn't bother me.
I'm gonna jump in on that. I think your honors program director might give you some guidance.
Yeah.
I know my students will be professionally dressed.
Yeah.
For their presentations, whether it's a roundtable, poster, panel presentation, they will be professionally dressed. So it's going to be a step up from business casual.
Okay.
And again, check with your director because we all have different guidelines that we give our students.
For sure.
And this, okay, and you have another question? If we're presenting under academic panel presentation, will a digital presentation work or do we need a poster as well?
So academic panel presentations are separate from poster presentations. Academic panel presentations are more formal research talks that are, I think, 8 to 10 minutes in length. We are having a prep session for those on Monday, February 7th at 4:30 p.m. So if you were accepted for an academic panel presentation that is not the same thing as a poster presentation, typically the panel presentations are very PowerPoint friendly, or Google Slides or Prezi or whatever it is you use for slides, but that's typically how academic panel presentations are presented. Does that answer your question? Oh, okay, so I see. How long should our presentations be? Is there a time limit? I've never done one before. Just for, I think it's Alexa. Are you talking?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to send that directly to you. I sent it to like everyone after.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah, I
talking.
see.
I was just talking about the time limit because like I don't know how long it would sound like. I don't want to drag on the presentation if that makes sense.
For a poster,
Yeah.
couple of minutes. Have a we call it like an elevator talk. Have a minute or so rehearsed thing going, summarizing your research from beginning to end, right? Intro, background information, methodology, results, conclusions, so that you have, when someone comes up to you and says, can you tell me about your research? You have something to say that's not quite, too stiff. You still want to be conversational, but it's fairly rehearsed and you know what you're going to say in those, minute or so. And then after that, it's really, posters are really supposed to be about back and forth conversation, about asking pointed questions. Your audience is going to ask you pointed questions. You'll respond to those questions. They'll say, I wonder about this. We thought about that. And it's really an opportunity for you as a presenter and as a researcher to have a more fluid conversation with your audience than an academic panel presentation might allow for. And so you're really not, at least this is the way I approach posters. I mean, other people might have different interpretations of a poster, but that's sort of how I see a poster, what I see the benefit of a poster presentation. So you really don't want to be, you don't really want to speak for like 10 minutes, like you would in a panel presentation talk. Because you really want to you want to really engage in a back and forth with whoever it is that is standing in front of your poster. You certainly want to have something to say, right? You want to have, a good minute or two of things to talk about, but really leaving it open for a back and forth and a discussion. Does that answer your question, Alexa?
Yeah, thank you. And I didn't actually know it was like a back and forth discussion. So that answered my question even better. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, also talk to your, your honors director as well, because they might have a, they might have a different interpretation of it. So, make sure that whatever it is you are putting together, you're in concert with what the expectations of your program and your honors director are. But my experience is that posters are fairly back and forth. At least they're intended to be. Because people, remember, you're going to be in a room full of literally 50 to 100 other people, and people are sort of milling around going from poster to poster, right? There's literally people just stacked right next to each other. So people aren't really expecting to be in one place for more than a few minutes unless they're super interested in what you're talking about, and then they're going to be talking to you, and it's going to feel like a conversation, right? And so, people aren't going to stick around for a 10-minute, talk from you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean that I'm not trying to be condescending in that way. It's just not, that's just not what the format of a poster is for. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That makes sense.
So I see another one. Let's see. To be correct, this is from Hyder. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. To be correct, this info is for the April 7th to 11th conference. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Is it possible, it's from Christina, is it possible to confirm the date and time for the Performing Arts and Film? The email states Tuesday, February 9th. We want to make sure, right. So the Performing Arts and Film is going to be, that's the prep session you're talking about. The Performing Arts and Film prep session is going to be Tuesday, February 9th at 5:30. I'm sorry, I misread the email when I said what I said before. So I apologize for that. So Tuesday, February 9th at 5:30 p.m. for the Performing Arts and Film Showcase. Okay.
The question, I think Tuesday is February 8th.
Oh,
that's the confusion.
So it's, I apologize. So it's, wow. I will make sure that that gets fixed. I don't remember off the top of my head, since I'm not running that one, and I just don't remember. But I will make sure. It says, oh, I see under there, it says Feb 9. So maybe it is supposed to be Wednesday, February 9th. We'll find out, and I will make sure that that gets remedied in an email. A follow-up email is sent out. I apologize about that. Yeah, we'll check on that. I apologize. Okay, before I get any more questions, I just want to show you where you can find some of the information, or some of the previous. I know. Hi, I'm giving a talk. Good night. Good night. I love you. It's family night. All right, let me take a look at this for you so I can show you what I'm talking about. So if you go to the NRHC website, everyone see my you should see the schedule of the conference at a glance now. Everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. So if you go to past conferences here and click on past conferences, you're going to be taken to this page. Does everyone see this page? Did it change? I don't know if it changed. I'm not used to Zoom. I use Google Meets more often. So
Yes,
Yeah,
I can see.
so if you click on presentation lobby, you'll be taken to this here. And in presentation lobby, you'll see right towards the top of the page, poster presentation galleries, and you'll see the different strands from from last year's conference, right? So there was a poster strand in business and economics and technology. There was one in education. There was one in history, politics, and culture. Excuse me, there was one in language, lit, and philosophy, media studies, science, math, and health. And then that was split up because there were so many of those. So it's split up into different sections, and the same thing for social sciences. If you click on any of those, for example, history, it'll take you to, and remember last year was a virtual conference, so there actually are recordings of the presenters going over their poster presentations. You'll note that some of them are quite long, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and that's probably because they wanted to just fill the time. But you're not expected to talk for that long for a poster presentation. But these sort of they do show you, what previous presentation formats look like in the different strands, right? So if you're looking in history, politics, and culture, there were only a few, I think, from last year. There was 3 or 4, 5. And so please take a look at those, and especially take a look at the ones that you are, whatever strand you are signed up for. And take a look at them, listen to the presentations. I can show you the education ones. They all tend to follow a similar format. Some of them will be organized in columns with different column headings, depending on the nature of your research and how they went together. I personally am more familiar with things like social sciences and mathematics, science and mathematics. So this is more in my wheelhouse with lots of graphs and things like that, but that's certainly not appropriate for all different disciplines. So you definitely want to defer to whatever discipline it is that you are working in. But all of this information is here. You can even download the poster itself, like I think it's as a PDF file. You can watch the presentations. They're linked to YouTube. So please do take advantage of that as well. Stop sharing. The posters have to be printed out. I see another question. They do not have to be printed out. If if it is better for you to glue things on oak tag or something like that, you certainly can. Just be aware that, those things they can sometimes, fall off or come unglued. And so you don't want to, have that happen to you in the middle. But if that's what you have access to, then that's totally fine. It's certainly not a requirement that they be printed out, but that tends to be a common way of doing it, but they don't have to be. No. Any other questions about posters, about the nature of posters, what to put in them, what not to put in them, logistics of the conference? I'm happy to answer any of those questions as well if they're on your mind.
I have a question.
Sure.
Briefly.
Yeah.
Would it be, this might be similar to the question earlier about bringing like extra props in. Could I potentially bring my laptop to show a video on in addition to the poster?
Yes. Yes, you absolutely can. Just remember, again, I don't know, I haven't seen the room. So I honestly don't know what the room is going to look like. I don't know whether we could get you a little stool or a side table to put your laptop on. I mean, it would be weird for you to just be like, here, watch this thing. I mean, you can do that. You can do that. But I don't want people to have to be uncomfortable and like you're standing there holding a laptop at the same time as you're trying to give a poster. But absolutely, I mean, if you can and we logistically can help make it work, we will. I mean, I can't speak for everyone at the conference, but I imagine that we will try to make any reasonable accommodations for people that have supplementary materials, whether it be some, physical piece of art or a laptop or something. If we can make it work within the constraints that we have, whether it be time constraints or space constraints, we'll do that. I mean, I would be happy to. I can find you a stool, bring it over. That's fine. It doesn't bother me. But that just, I can't, for certain say, yes, we'll absolutely make that happen because I just don't know what the space looks like, or what resources we'll have available. But if you want to, bring it as a possibility, and if it doesn't work out, then I'm sorry. But if it does, then you're in luck,
Well, thank you.
Sure. I see another question from MJ. Where do we recommend us to do our printing? I've always done mine at Staples. They will print large things. That usually doesn't take them too long. I think I used to be, I don't know, it's been a while since I put a poster together, but a number of years ago, it was like 24 hours in advance is what they were asking for. I don't know if they sped up or slowed down in that time. But Staples was always go to. Some institutions do have the capacity they have large, professional scale sized printers that you can use on your campus, but that's going to differ from institution to institution.
Staples is now asking, at least the one that I go to, is now asking for a longer lead time. And so just to be on the safe side, I would give at least a week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because everybody is short-staffed.
Yeah.
And so, and I don't like getting gray hairs,
No, you don't want to be, your honors director is saying we're meeting here at this time and you're still sitting at Staples sweating bullets, not sure if you're
So have pity on your honors directors, people.
Yes, please.
Get stuff done ahead of time.
Yeah, you want to be on top of it. Don't wait until, definitely, just don't wait until the last minute to get it printed out, for sure. So once it's done, it's, it's printed, it's in the tube, and you just got to grab it and go. So
I have one more question.
Yeah, I see it.
What is the dress code for the gala?
For the gala, that is the student gala, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. There's usually a theme.
Yeah.
And you'll be getting information from the student representatives, and there's usually some kind of a theme, and people dress to the theme. And I don't know. I don't know what it is this year. Zach, do you know?
I actually don't. I honestly don't know off the top of my head. I don't remember if we talked about it or if they're still deciding on it. But all of that will be, yeah,
it's usually it's usually kind of a dress up type of thing.
Yeah.
And
somebody
says semi-formal, and I've seen that very often.
Yeah, even if you don't dress up in theme, people do tend to dress up. I mean, I don't know because I don't go to it. So I can't tell you, but that's my understanding. So. Let's see, I plan to present at language, literature, and philosophy. Do you know if that is happening on Saturday? I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sorry, Mark, I don't know. We haven't made that decision. I can, now that I know, I can try to see if we can squeeze that in on Saturday, but we haven't put together that specificity in the schedule yet.
All right, thanks a lot.
No problem.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
This is my first year attending the conference and I'm a freshman.
Okay.
So the only poster boards I have done have kind of been like the print it out and stick it and glue it on. I would like to try to do a digital presentation. Is there a certain like word presentation type thing, like anything on the computer that you would recommend using to make them?
I've always used PowerPoint, and basically in PowerPoint, you can, I'll share my screen real quick so I can show you what I'm talking about. Let me see, give me 1 second, I'll share you and I can show you what I'm talking about. So here's a poster, right? You know how you can go to design if you're working in PowerPoint. I don't know if Google Slides does this, but it might. But if you go to the design tab in PowerPoint, you can go to slide size over here on the right hand side. And normally, you know, it's set up to be presented on a screen, like a 4:3 aspect ratio or 16:9 aspect ratio. But if you go to custom slide size, you can actually change the size of the slide, like the canvas, if you will, and put it in inches to make it the size of the poster. Like that's what I've always done. So whatever the size limits of the poster are, I make that the size of the slide itself, and that way I know I have enough room. That's how I've done it. I don't know if there are better ways or new ways to do it, but that's how I've done it. Google Slides may have this capacity. I don't know. But I would imagine those are the two that I would think of off the top of my head. I don't know if there are now, you know, other programs that are available or other things, you know, online that allow for the building of custom posters. I honestly don't know off the top of my head. If anyone else knows, please put it in the chat or let us know. But PowerPoint has always been my friend for that stuff.
Thank you so much.
No problem. All right, any other questions? All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for coming tonight. If you do have any other questions, you can always email the Northeast Regional Honors Council at gmail.com. I will put it in the chat in case you have other questions, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have about the conference or, you know, anything else. So if that's all, thank you all for coming, and hopefully see you at the conference. I'm looking forward to it, and I really hope that you all have a good time. And please, you know, do the student events. They are fun. The gala's fun. There's going to be I think they're going to do a couple of other events that are usually fun. I mean, this is really it's a student-centered conference. It's really for you and about you. So please come, have fun, and you know, support your fellow students, go to the talks and really listen to what they have to say, and you'll meet some really great people. Every time I brought students, it's been they've wanted to come back. They love it. They have a great time. If it's your first time presenting, it's a very, very supportive atmosphere. It really is. It's okay to be nervous. That's normal to be nervous, but everyone's there to really cheer you on and really hear what you have to say and be really excited about the work you put in. Absolutely. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Great job, Zach.
Thanks. I think it's hard to gauge the audience when you're only looking at, still photos or just names. So, but it looked like people had some good questions. So.
Oh, I think so. It's a very, very exciting and engaged group. It's going to be terrific.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it, for sure. So, all right, thank you. Oh, sorry, what's up?
Take good care. Bye-bye now.
You too, and I'll reach out to you about Consultants Corner. I really appreciate you, being willing to help us out with that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Happy to do it.
Thank
Bye-bye
you.
now.
Bye-bye.